Welcome to Paul's Heart. I'm Paul, author of the book Paul's Heart, Life as a Dad and a 35-year cancer survivor, available on Amazon. I want to take this time to offer my sympathies to the family and fans of actor James Van Der Beek, who passed away yesterday from complications of colon cancer at the young age of 48. Of course, I know what James Van Der Beek meant to so many who grew up during the time watching Dawson's Creek. And I realized that when someone so important in your lives back then meant, and to lose somebody so influential definitely hurts, that loss. Mr. Van Der Beek joins other famous celebrities who've passed away from colon cancer. Prior to him, Chadwick Boseman, known as Black Panther, passed away at 43. Going back a few more years, Kirstie Alley from the TV show Cheers. She was 71. And for younger people, Randy Gonzalez, known on TikTok as the Enki Boys, passed away at the age of 35. One of the more noticeable survivors of colon cancer is Sharon Osbourne, of course, the wife of rock star Ozzy Osbourne. So I talk about Hodgkin's lymphoma all the time. That's the cancer that I was diagnosed in 1988. Has a high cure rate. So does colon cancer. Okay, and unlike Hodgkin's, colon cancer has its high cure because it's preventable. Okay, the sooner it's caught, the better the chances of survival. And there are actually things that, unlike Hodgkin's lymphoma, that can have an impact on preventing colon cancer. Of course, I'm talking about diet. Of course, you're going to have the bad guys, smoking and alcohol. All those things have an impact on colon cancer. And also, the biggest tool for preventing colon cancer are colonoscopies. I'll get to that in just a little bit. But to understand what colon cancer is, mainly it doesn't start out as cancer. They mostly start as polyps, okay? And these undergo DNA changes that cause those cells to grow uncontrollably and then becoming colon cancer. Now, colonoscopies are important for one major reason, okay? Yes, that's where they take a tube and stick it up your butt with a camera, and they look for these polyps or anything else that's going on inside your colon and intestines, I believe, okay? If they see a polyp, they remove it, okay? And the simple theory is a polyp removed is a cancer prevented. So if you're going through life and you're not really experiencing anything or whatever, a colonoscopy is definitely a good thing to have just to make sure. Now, symptoms of colon cancer, you've got to pay attention to, change in bowel habits. Perhaps if you have blood in your stool, abdominal discomfort. If you don't feel like after you've gone number 2 that you're completely empty. Possibly unexplained weight loss. Okay, then you have key risk factors. Okay, age. They often hype up the age of 40 as being that age where you need to consider getting a colonoscopy done. Perhaps you have a family history, genetics. Perhaps you have to deal with inflammatory bowel disease, or otherwise known as IBD. Race can play a factor in this. And I mentioned lifestyle and diet. And then I'm going to add one more: prior cancer and treatment. Okay, the treatments that I went through for Hodgkin's lymphoma decades ago put me at a higher risk for colon cancer. Okay, in particular, radiation to the area, as well as the drug procarbazine, which was part of my chemotherapy treatments. Okay, now the good thing is, like I said, colon cancer is one of the highly treatable cancers with over 90% success rate if caught early. Okay, so now we're going to get to the hard part. because we say colonoscopy and everybody's like, ooh, no, I don't want that. I don't want anybody messing around with my rear end. Let me tell you, if it catches something before it becomes cancer, or if it catches the cancer early enough, you'll be glad you did. Okay, so what is a colonoscopy? Okay, simply put, I'm not going to talk over your heads. I'm not going to make you lost in the weeds. Okay, it's a photographic tube that goes up your behind, takes pictures, shows doctors what they're looking at. If they see polyps, they remove them. Okay, it's that simple. Now, you are anesthetized, either locally or generally, depending on what your circumstance is. And the important thing is, you wake up without even knowing anything happened. Seriously, you are not even aware that it was done to you. Okay? So that means the hardest part of this is what's called the prep. Okay? And I'm going to try to keep this under a minute because I want to make sure that I record this whole thing. The prep is a large amount of fluid laxative to make you go. Now, ironically, the substance that I have to drink is a powder that I have to mix with pretty much any clear beverage that I want. I choose, unfortunately, to drink Sprite. As long as it's a clear liquid, they don't have a problem with it. Okay? But you have to drink 64 ounces of this consistently. 8 ounces every 15 minutes. That was the directions given to me. So every 15 minutes, I have to drink an 8-ounce glass of this. And around the third glass is when this stuff hits. Now, I'm going to tell you, this product is called Go Lightly. Yeah, okay. Go Quickly is more like it. Okay, because once this starts working, you are alternating between drinking and going to the bathroom. And this process takes about 3.5 hours. I want to stress, it doesn't hurt. It's inconvenient. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel normal, but it doesn't hurt. But the thing is, your body has to be completely empty of everything in order for that camera to see everywhere that it needs to get done. When you're done with that final glass, okay, you just ride it out, probably about another hour, and then you're done. You rest. If you're unfortunate enough that you have to do a little bit more the next morning, that's usually put in your instructions. Okay? You go to the hospital, you have nothing to eat or drink, they knock you out, you wake up, and then the jokes come. You know, waiting for that post-colonoscopy fart. Okay? Just look it up on TikToks. There's actually videos, video collections of it, and they're comical. And when you go through them enough, you come up with your own jokes. Okay? But the key factor to remember for this is if you have no polyps found, that's great. Okay? It wasn't wasted. Okay? What it means is that you probably don't have to have another colonoscopy again for another 10 years. But if they do find polyps, as is often my case, then first off, that's a cancer prevented. I've said that. But you may have to have another colonoscopy sooner than anticipated. Right now, because I have polyps every time I have a colonoscopy done, I get colonoscopies done every 3 years. So over the last 15 years, I've had 5 colonoscopies. Again, they're not painful, but they need to be done. They save lives. And for those that are grieving, and I understand it, please take his passing and honor his memory and get a colonoscopy done. If you were born in 1987, where some of the greatest music was played, and beyond 1987, it's time for a colonoscopy. Ask your primary care doctor to order one for you. And again, whether you have polyps or not, just get it done. If you don't, great. If you do, they've removed the polyps. And again, you have no idea. You wake up not knowing what has happened. And you go on with your life. And you've avoided colon cancer or beaten it. Until next time, please get a colonoscopy.